My background is different this morning. I am actually in what will become my podcast studio, where I hope to interview guests and the like going forward. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know I have an office down the street from my house. I'm painting it and doing other surprise things. But today they kicked me out of my office because they have to paint that room. So the next day or two, I will likely be talking to you with a black, boring background. It is what it is. We just keep moving forward. Hopefully the sound is okay because I haven't yet insulated this with soundproofing. But we will do what we can, and hopefully we'll be in my office, let's say by Monday, because I'm not sure they're going to work this weekend. So it is what it is. We're just going to make do. First and foremost, got to congratulate some folks. Robert, congratulations. Maddie, congratulations. And one more for Robert. Folks, one rental at a time is a community. When one of us wins, we all win, right? Their wins are not our losses. Let's congratulate folks. Leave comments below. Remember Robert and Maddie this morning. Folks, if you sent me a note on my Facebook page, one rental at a time, I apologize. I have so many places now. I don't normally check that one. Robert and Maddie, I apologize. I saw your addresses, so your cards are coming. Again, like, subscribe, comment. 1,000 days in a row shows discipline. 8 millionaires coming back, talking to you each week. One rental at a time is a different channel. We are folks doing the work every day. A couple of things to mention. I had two notes this morning from followers or viewers of the channel talking about lenders pushing adjustable rate mortgages, ARMs. If you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you know that I am, for the most part, anti-ARMs, especially into a rising environment. So that is typically good for them and not good for you. So be careful. I suggest doing the work and getting 30-year loans. I suggest even if you're doing larger multifamily, now is the time. I see lots of pain ahead for the commercial sector because of the lending environment. So be careful. Do not get got. If you have to refi because your adjustable rate mortgage goes up in an environment that is just bad timing, it can hurt. And in some cases, in the apartment market, force you to sell and recognize a massive loss. Don't be that person. Next, I was reading some articles about Tesla. It's always a favorite by the community. I actually thought it was pretty interesting that Musk actually said Tesla robot is more important than new cars. Obviously, I don't have any skin in the game. But Tesla obviously trades at quite the premium. Lots of people say they're not a car company, they are a technology company, so maybe that makes sense that they're going to make some robots. But I don't know that I'd be very happy if the CEO of the company is dividing focus, adding expenses, when they've got promises for the truck, the Cybertruck, and this and that, and he's now diverting focus to robots? Really? Is that supposed to make me feel good about my stock? I don't know. You guys tell me. Apple reported blockbuster earnings, record earnings. They are a juggernaut. They are a high-speed train that just keeps on trucking. Record numbers, record sales up 11%. Supply chain. They expect the supply chain to get better. You have to remember that Apple is more vertically integrated than most technology companies. So it is probably easier for them to kind of tie it all together. They are seeing inflation everywhere. So again, very interesting. But yes, Apple delivered. Where Netflix did not, in the FANG names, Apple delivered. On that end, Robinhood. Robinhood joins the rank of Peloton, Netflix, for having the sun set on their pandemic goodness. They came out at the right time. They had the right message. But now they are losing subs. They had a drop of over 1.6 million active users. These were the users that were the retail traders. They got the stimmy checks. Maybe they didn't need them. They threw them in the market, and they've been getting hammered as they were investing in the high flyers. I just saw that some of the meme names are down 80-some%. I hope you're not holding the bag, waiting for it to return. Sometimes you just make a mistake. And again, if you are one of those folks, I challenge you to look up the word opportunity cost. And I've done some videos on it recently because sometimes admitting you made a mistake is a much, much, much better idea. So again, Robinhood joins the rank of Peloton and Netflix. I told you this stuff was coming. There were always going to be fallen angels. We were in a unique environment, and some of these folks won't exist. My guess for Robinhood, frankly, is someone buys them. Last time I checked, I think they're under $10 a share. I could be wrong. At some point, one of the behemoths just takes them out. We shall see. Looks like Russia is having a really rough go of it. Obviously, we know that they are on the cusp of potentially invading Ukraine. But you have to realize that their stock market, their currency, the ruble, has been getting hit really hard, right? The stock market in Russia was down 8% yesterday, for example. The ruble is at a 14-month low. Putin, right, the big man in charge, has to understand that the stock market is going down, the currency is collapsing because there's anticipation of war and then ramifications. Does Putin really want that bad? I don't know. We're going to find out soon, but perhaps cooler heads will prevail. We shall see. House hunters are obviously getting very stressed out. I again told you this was coming. As rates were rising, those people on the fence would come rushing in. And of course, we happen to close the year with record low inventory. That is not a good mix. Again, don't do something stupid. Don't have buyer's remorse. Don't settle. It's going to be 6 or 10 weeks of nonsense. I'm already hearing about multiple bids and lines out the door again. This is going to be the last sugar high, caffeine rush, whatever you want to call it. The market will start to slow down April-ish. Right? If you got to go and you want to lock in and you found your forever home, go for it. If you're just going to settle and be in something for a little while, crazy. It is tough. I feel for you, no doubt. Was reading an article about Stanley Druckenmiller. Stanley Druckenmiller is one of those guys that just always level-headed. Just always level-headed. I read a lot of his stuff during the Great Recession. He is out saying bear markets, which again, if you've been following my channel, I think we are in, and unfortunately, I think we are in a bear market like 73 and 74, which was yucky. That's a very technical finance term. He said bear markets are often participated or led by two things. One, rising rates. Thanks, Stanley. That one is kind of obvious. The second one I did not think about, but totally makes sense, and that is the onset of war. Think about what we have going on in the world right now. And should we have a rising rate environment with perhaps a scuffle or something more severe? Yeah, that does not make me feel warm and fuzzy inside. On that topic, I think it should be said that these folks that are saying cash is trash, get cash, put it to work. I'm happy to say that sitting on cash is very comforting. I may put it to work in different spots, but having cash today, having purposely told you what I was doing, makes me feel very comfortable and sleep very well at night today. Visa beat top and bottom, which was a very good earnings statement. More importantly, with all these credit card companies, is what are they saying people are buying? They're talking about e-commerce going up, which is interesting, especially after last year. But more importantly, they said travel spending was off the charts, which I thought was very interesting. Got an article on Canada's housing market. Apparently Canada's Fed, I do not know what they're called, I'm going to call them the Fed, met the other day and they did not raise rates, but they indicated it was coming. The Canada real estate market is crazy, right? We often talk on this channel because that's my history is the US, but the Canada market is no joke. Canada real estate is up 39% average since February of 2020. And if you don't know, the Canada real estate market is, I think it's all or mainly adjustable rate mortgages. They do not have the notion of a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So there are lots of folks who have bought housing in the last couple of years who are A, sitting on significant gains, but B, staring at a future of higher payments because we may see the decade low of rates. It is very interesting. In addition to that, this article talked about the Canada market having a record number of investors. Typically, they're about 14%, 14.5%. The last quarter was 20%, or 1 in 5 transactions were bought by an investor. And then lastly, a typical home in Canada now is selling in 15 days, right? That is going pending in 15 days. That is amazing stuff. Got some pending home sales data on the US now. This is US data. Pending home sales are down. They are down 6.9%. They are down 10% in the Northeast or West, Northeast and the West, excuse me. So more on the coasts. What we are, and this article was talking about pending home sales. They are obviously down because it's hard to have a pending home sale when you have no homes to sell. It's kind of that, like, no kidding. But what they're basically saying is they expect a rush of first-time buyers and housing home buyers, and then to have inventory build slowly throughout the year. Obviously, I believe that. I think that is coming. But yeah, it is. It's going to be the next 6 to 10 weeks are going to be kind of stressful. PCE, personal consumption expenditure, has set a record since 1983. PCE is important because it is the Fed's most important or favorite inflation metric. It has set a record since 1983 at 4.9%. More importantly is it is still accelerating. It was 4.7 in November. The Fed, Powell, he needs to channel Paul Volcker. I still feel very confident that his first raise has to be 0.5 point. More importantly, I've been calling that for quite a while. But we shall see. We shall see in about 6 weeks or so. Again, PCE ramping means he needs to step on the brake, and he needs to shock or surprise the market. And I believe a 0.5 point will do that. And again, remember yesterday I shared with you that after their Fed meeting on Wednesday, that the odds or the bets of a 0.5 point went from 5% or 1 in 20 to 1 in 5 or 1 in 4. I think it was 1 in 4. So again, lots of people see that. Lastly, a couple of last earnings that I noted right before I started. Chevron, it beat on revenue, but it missed on the bottom line. It missed on earnings. Chevron, oil and gas. Oil has been racing higher, and they still missed on the bottom. They missed by quite a bit. Expectation was $3.12. They only made $2.56. That's a 20% miss, roughly. Inflation, folks, cost, expenses, all of that stuff. Caterpillar beat top and bottom. However, gross margin is hit. They are going to be raising prices. Again, inflation per Tim Cook at Apple is everywhere. And then lastly, VF Corp. These are the folks at Vans and, another jacket company. They actually beat top and bottom. Again, remember, I told you, Q4, awesome. Then they said, sorry, folks, we had to cut full year guidance. We do not expect to sell, and I'm sure the stock is getting hit this morning. It is not about Q4. Q4 was a record. GDP was awesome, blah, blah, blah. We've talked about it. It is about 2022, what we see in the future. We see higher inflation, higher rates, consumer potentially retreating, and a negative surprise at the end of Q4 where I believe unemployment will actually be higher. And then finally, folks, I released a video at 7 a.m. this morning of a second walkthrough of my new office. I thought I would share with you. It still has lots of work to be done. Again, they're painting my office, hence I'm talking to you from a podcast studio. I'm excited about it, but yeah, I'm surrounded by boxes right now. I kind of feel like I'm in my kid's bedroom with just stuff around me. So remember, like, subscribe, comment, share, become part of the channel, do the work, get yourself one of these awesome cards, and have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Bye-bye.